like in the jungle.
How big do you want it?
How many of you can sing?
Ooh! Yes, of course we can sing.
What can you sing?
Anything.
What if you don't know the words?
That's okay, we'll make them up. Let's sing.
Now?
Why not?
How many of you can dance?
Ooh!
What kind of music do you like to dance to?
Any kind. Let's dance.
Now?
Sure, why not?
Do you like to act in plays?
Yes!
Do you play musical instruments?
Yes!
Do you like to write poetry?
Yes!
Can you read, write, and count?
Yes!
We're learning that stuff now.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C-A-T-K.
Try these same questions on a college audience. A few students will raise their hands when asked if they can draw or dance or sing or paint or act or play an instrument. More often than not, those who do raise their hands will want to qualify their limitations with their responses.
I play piano, but not very well. My mother made me.
I only dance rock and roll. I only sing in the shower.
I only draw conclusions.
When asked why limitations, college students answer.
I don't have any talent.
I haven't done any of that stuff since about the 3rd grade.
Who's got the time?
That's not my major.
You can imagine the responses you'd get from an older audience.
Oh, geez, that's time. I've got to run.
Maybe after 3 martinis.
Not another diaper.
Gotta love his man! What went wrong between kindergarten and now? Whatever happened to, yes, of course I can.
I've become so caught up in my grown-up stuff. I think I've lost some spontaneity. It seems I've lost perspective on living life. Every day at my job with my family, but I'm discovering all I really need to know. I learned in kindergarten about how to live, what to do, how to be. It's the sandbox code of ethics, not some grad school mumbo jumbo that's had its greatest impact on me. I learned, share,
Don't hit people.
Don't take things that don't belong to you.
if you hurt someone, say you're sorry, to name just a few. Clean up your own mess and wash your hands before you eat. Hold hands and stick together when you cross the street.
Flush.
Live a balanced life, learn some, live some, work and play.
And sing and dance and draw and take a nap each day. Beware of wonder. Remember the first word you learned in your Dick and Jane book. The biggest, most important word of all.
of terms, and they will all hold true and firm and clear.
We also want to take on every day. Think of how much better our world would be. Or what if cleaning up your own mess were a matter of our government's policy? And it's still true when we go out into the world. In these uncertain times, uncertain weather, it doesn't matter if you're 6 years old or 60. On my back, we should all hold hands and stick together. Remember the first word you learned in your Dick and Jane book, the biggest, most important word of all.
Okay, it's upside down.
Cinderella was the title on the chalkboard marquee.
Given the task of dramatizing a fairy tale for the teachers' conference, the kindergarten class went with the classic old rags to riches story, Cinderella.
Oh, you know how it goes. Shy, agreeable protagonist, victimized by abusive step-parent, waits for a wise matriarchal figure to deliver her, transform from codependency to bliss.
In other words, if you're good looking, good at heart, and have a fairy godmother, you got it made.
It was a good choice from the teacher's point of view because there were so many characters, and every child in the class could have a part in the play.
A list of characters was compiled as the class talked through the plot of the drama.
There was the absolutely ravishing Cinderella.
Ooh!
The evil evil stepmother.
Boo! The two wicked but stupid stepsisters.
The beautiful and wise fairy godmother.
Aww.
The pumpkin.
Mice.
Coachman.
Horses.
King.
All the people in the king's ball.
Generals.
Admirals.
Knights.
Princesses.
And of course, the ultimate object of fable desire, the prince.
Who, if you recall, was really only a salesman interested in pushing his inventory of glass slippers.
Child was able to choose parts for themselves. As parts were loaded, the children were labeled with a felt pen and paper and sent to go stand on the other side of the room. Finally, everyone in the class had a part in the play.
Except one small boy, Norman, a kid who was different. Not weird, just different in the way that he looked at things. Norman was always thinking, and like so many misunderstood but great thinkers, Norman was teased a lot by his classmates, causing him to live on the fringe of kindergarten society.
Well, Norman, said the teacher, what are you going to be?
Well, I'm going to be the pig.
The pig? There's no pig in this story, Cinderella.
Well, there is now.
You see, Norman did not relate to being a footman, a mouse, or even the pumpkin.
character, Pig.
And he was not about to give up his part in play and go over and stand against a wall where a loser would stand.
He intended to partake wherever Pig fit into the scheme of things, without giving up dignity or identity. He took it for granted that there was a place for pigs, and that the teacher would know that.
So what do you say to a kid who's already thinking of a costume of pink-long underwear, a pipe cleaner tail, and a paper cup for a nose?
What do you say to an innocent little pig who doesn't see his career as an actor teetering on the brink of an utter humiliation?
And what do you say to all those pigs? All those who are different and did not accept the available boxes of pigeonholes.
So, what did the teacher say at this moment?
So be it.
Norman was declared the pig in the story of Cinderella.
It was quite fine with the rest of the class. Nobody else wanted to be the pig anyhow.
And since there's nothing in the script explaining what the pig was supposed to do, the action was left up to Norman. As it turns out, Norman gave himself one of the all-time best walk-on parts in the history of children's theater. He decided he was going to be Cinderella's personal pig. Where she went, he went.
He made no sound. He simply sat on his back haunches like some silently supportive Greek chorus.
The expressions on his face reflected the details of the dramatic action. Looking worried,
Sad,
Anxious,
hopeful,
puzzled,
mad,
bored,
sick.
and pleased as the moment required.
There was no doubt about what was going on, and no doubt that it was important.
One look at the pig and you knew. The pig was so earnest, so sincere, so very there.
Norman created such dramatic tension that people who knew how the story was supposed to end began to have doubts.
And at the end, when the prince finally placed a glass slipper on Cinderella's foot, Norman finally made his move. He went wild with joy, dancing around on the stage and barking like a dog.
During rehearsal, the teacher had tried to explain to Norman that even if there was a pig in the Cinderella story, there's no such thing as a dancing, barking pig.
Well, there is now.
It's true, Norman. It's true. Knock 'em dead, pig.
The presentation at the teachers' conference was a smash hit.
When Norman danced his dance, the crowd of weary teachers laughed and whooped and cheered.
And when he stumbled out for his curtain call, the crowd turned into a spontaneous standing ovation.
Woo-hoo! Go pig!
Yeah!
The teachers were able to see that the real Cinderella was not the little girl with blonde hair and a button nose, but Norman, the dancing, barking pig.
And they knew the real fairy godmother was not the child waving her fairy wand, but the teacher, standing, weeping in the wings.
Kindergarten teachers know magic when they see it.
Well, the kindergarten class had many invitations to come and perform their highly acclaimed production of Cinderella, and sometimes the teacher would have to explain what it was about it that made it so unique.
It's the pig in it, you see.
Oh, really?
Yes, the star of a show is a dancing, barking pig.
But wait, there is no dancing, barking pig in Cinderella.
Well, there is now.
In the early dry dark of October's evening, the neighborhood children are playing a game of hide and seek. How long since I played hide and seek? 40 years? Okay, maybe more. I remember how, and I could join in their game in a moment if they invited me, but adults don't play hide and seek. Not for fun anyway. Did you ever have a kid in your neighborhood that hid so good that nobody could find him? We did. After a while, we would give up on him and go off, leaving him to rot wherever he was. Sooner or later, he would show up, all mad because we didn't keep looking for him. And we get mad back because he wasn't playing the game it was supposed to be played. There's hiding and there's finding, we'd say. And he'd say back, it's hide and seek, not hide and give up. We'd all yell about who made the rules and who cared about who. Anyway, and how we wouldn't play with him again if he didn't get stuff straight. And stuff like that. Hide and seek and yell. No matter what though, he's still probably hiding somewhere for all I know. And there's a kid hiding under my front window in a pile of leaves. He's been there for quite some time now. And everyone else has been found and are ready to give up on him over at base. I considered going out and telling them where he was. I also thought about setting the leaves on fire. Finally, I yelled, "Get out, kid!" It's hard to know how to be helpful sometimes. This guy I know found out last year that he had terminal cancer. And he was a doctor, so he knew about dying. But he didn't want his family and friends to suffer through this with him. So he kept his secret. And he died. Everyone said how brave he was to bear his suffering in silence, but privately, everyone said how angry they were that he didn't need them, didn't trust their strength, and were upset that he hadn't said goodbye. He hid too good. Getting found would have kept him in the game. Hide and seek, grown-up style. Wanting to hide, needing to be sought, confused about being found. Better than hide and seek. I like a game, sardines. Now, in sardines, the person who is it goes off and hides. But then everybody goes looking for him. But when they find him, they don't let anybody know. Instead, they get in there and hide there with him. Pretty soon, everybody is hiding together, all stacked like a heap, like a pile of puppies. Then somebody giggles, and then somebody laughs, and then everybody gets found. By the sound of laughter, everybody gets found.
True story.
True story.
True story, Larry Walters.
Our hero.
Walters is a truck driver, your average guy. He's sitting in his lawn chair in his backyard wishing he could fly.
For as long as he could remember, he wanted to go up. Somehow to ride the sky.
There was no way he was ever going to fly a plane, and a pig like this looked too dangerous.
So he spent most of his summer afternoon sitting in his aluminum lawn chair, the kind with the webs and the rivets.
This next chapter takes place on July 2nd, 1982, and appears in newspapers and on television across the country.
There's a Larry Walters over Los Angeles, flying at last.
Really getting up there.
He's still sitting in his aluminum lawn chair, only now it's hooked up to 45 helium-filled surplus weather balloons.
Larry has a parachute on, a CB radio, a six-pack of beer, some peanut butter jelly sandwiches, and a BB gun that knocks some of the balloons to come down.
Okay, so you guys probably hear that you can't hear them. This is why this is an invited dress rehearsal. 'Cause we have to check their mics. Check your mics. Hold on. I got you guys cranked up. That's what happens when an invited dress rehearsal. Sometimes we're gonna stop for a minute, check, and fix the
a couple hundred feet up in the air. He shot up 11,000 feet up in the air over the corridor to the Louisiana International Airport.
Well, he can't just sit there.
He answered.
When asked if he would do it again, he said,
Nope.
When asked, are you glad he did it?
"Are you glad you did it? Yes, yes, yes. Ow! Yes!"
Anything is possible.
In the Solomon Islands of the South Pacific, some villagers practice a unique form of logging. If a tree is too large to be felled with an axe, the natives cut it down by yelling at it. I can't lay my hands on the article, but I swear I read it. Woodsmen with special powers creep up on the tree just at dawn and suddenly scream at the top of their lungs. No. They continue this for 35 days. The tree dies and falls over. The theory is that the hollering kills the spirits. It always works. At the dog. Actually, machines. Machines and relatives get the most yelling. Don't know how good it does. Machines and things just sit there.
Even picking doesn't always help.
As for people, well, the Solomon Islanders may have a point. Yelling at things does tend to kill the spirit in them.
The soap comes away in this container at the bottom of the sink. There sits what I will for the moment call some stuff. Now any rational, objective person would say this is simply a mixture of bits of food which are not small enough to go down the drain, comprised of carbohydrates, fiber, fat, and protein. Furthermore, the person might think this stuff has already been sterilized in the cooking and then rinsed clean with suds and hot water in the sink.
But any teen who's ever been forced to do the dishes against his wishes will testify. This explanation is a lie.
He will profess that gooey mess is a toxic catastrophe, a deadly calamity. To any rational guy or girl, it's enough to make you hurl.
Oh, please, your mother deals with that stuff all the time.
I bet my mom, whatever else I might say, she'll reach into that strainer any old day and pick up that lethal junk with her bare hands. Bare Order.
It meant disgusting mess, and let there be no doubt, I knew what she was talking about.
Order. Order. Order.
I see that ugly sight in the strainer every night when my mother heard my exciting new word. During dishwashing duty, she gave me a snooty. My girl, the idiot look, right out of the book, said she had the suspicion that the food I just eaten was at that very moment in my stomach in just about the same condition, rotting.
About my mother, what else I might say? She'll reach into that strainer any old day and pick up at that lethal gunk with her bare hands. And I know that it'll congeal and mutate and come into a life form that could creep right out of the sink and come after you when you're asleep.
Never had to clean that gunk out. He agreed, my dad. It was the only theological discussion we ever had.
Imagine a speaker at a high school graduation. He asked the students a few of the things that they will have to do when they're grown. All hands shoot up without hesitation when asked few of the things that they will have to do when they're adults.
Clean the sink strainer. Plunge out the toilet. Clean up babies when they poop and pee.
Wipe runny noses. Clean up the floor when the baby throws up strained spinach.
Empty the kitty litter. Scrape up the dog dew.
Bury dead pets when they get run over in the street.
When you can do these things, then you'll be adults. At this point, some students may not want to go on, but sooner or later the truth will dawn. The fact is membership in community depends on our willingness to do these chores, my friends. Being an adult is dirty work, but someone has to do it.
Nope. Isn't in the dictionary.
You hardly ever see it on the page.
it's part of our vocabulary.
It has been since the diaper age.
What did Adam say to Eve? Moments after he began to chew on the apple she gave.